So before
Yeah,
you had
yeah.
control in the situation, I was hoping you could walk us through you being super young and that experience of music and what the sounds around you were.
Yeah, definitely. Like, so I grew up in a household, like my parents were both very big fans of music. Like there's music playing since I was a kid. Like my musical journey, like I don't know other people's reference points and stuff, but like, I always started right at the beginning. So like, I mean, I can't tell you exactly like, as my earliest memories of music was me having a taste in music. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Like I don't remember music prior to me having shit I already liked. You know what I mean? Like, so the first music I ever liked was I mean, subconsciously, I probably like, I've grown to like be a huge Van Morrison fan in my later years, like a huge Tragically Hip fan. And there's tons of other bands, but I'm just those are two that point like, stick out, right? Bad Company. I've grown to be a huge fan of all these groups, and I do have very vague, like nostalgic memories of hearing these songs in the house when I was a kid. So I mean, I guess that's technically the start of the musical journey. But I mean, my earliest real memories of like thinking about music or like even looking at it like it was a thing, you know what I mean? Like even processing it, like, oh, this is what music is, and there's bands and this. So like I was I was huge into New Kids on the Block. I had this like the VHS of Hanging Tough. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but it's like a movie they put out around the album, and basically they do like a music video for every song, and it's kind of like if you've seen Jay-Z Streets is Watching. It's like the boy band early 90s late 80s version of that. And then there's like little like them like on the road. I don't know if they're going on tour or like writing songs and like fucking
So it's like
am I allowed to swear?
you can swear all you
Am I
want.
allowed to
I
swear?
literally have a
Okay,
joint
okay.
going right now. Um,
All right. But yeah, so basically like that was like that's my earliest shit. Like I remember having that tape and wearing the shit out of that, bro. Like I played that shit like crazy. That and Michael Jackson. Like I was a huge Michael Jackson fan from like literally the womb. Like, and it's weird because my parents don't like Michael. Like they don't dislike Michael Jackson, but they don't listen to Michael Jackson.
mm,
So I discovered that somehow on my own and became a fan of it. And I don't know if my parents like put it in my put it within my reach because I like the New Kids on the Block, and they're like, well, it sounds similar. I couldn't tell you, but somehow I know by the time I was like 4, I had like me and my pops used to go to the library, and he'd rent the VHSs out. So we had like Michael Jackson, Moonwalker, different live shows and biographies and shit. And we take them home and then rip the VHSs. So back in the days, you used to burn the VHS onto the VHS, right? You record it, and
mm.
so like I had all these like like 4 or 5 Michael Jackson movies, and then Moonwalker. A few different things. One was like live, so I don't know, some shit. Bad Tour or something like that. Yeah, and that Hanging Tough, and I used to just watch the shit out of those. And then I remember I got my first CD. It was Big Shiny Tunes 2 was my first CD, and I asked for it for Christmas the year it came out.
Hold
So
up, hold up.
whatever year that was, if that was like 97, 96, something like that.
All right, so
Yeah.
we got to stop for a second. That was really fucking great. That was basically everything I hoped for in this question. So you started us off with some shit, but what's interesting about your version of this compared to, I guess, the other reference points is that literally nobody has said that I watched a bunch of music VHS tapes. And like I know what they are. Like my girlfriend commented Spice World, and I'm like, that's exactly what the fuck that shit is. Spice World is exactly one of these movie
Yeah,
things.
it's a later version of what I was watching,
Yeah,
basically. Yeah, and I watched Spice World when that came out too. I had a huge crush on David Beckham's wife, whatever, Posh Spice.
it's perfect.
I love that. I used to love that girl.
I think it's very understandable. Um, but like, how old were you when you had these tapes? Like, cause I'm not really sure how old you are, so it's a bit of a guessing game.
um, I'm 31, so I was that was
All right,
89. I was born, so we're talking like probably not 1990, probably not 91. So we're talking. Well, what Bad came
no,
out
no,
in
like,
90. Bad came out in 80. Was it 89 or 91? Bad
no, I
Bad came
think
out in
Bad is
1990.
around then. I'm pretty sure it was the late '80s.
I think it's 19. It's either end of 89 or like 1990. I'd have to
I'm
double
gonna
check.
Google that.
Um,
That's the beauty
but
of having it here.
yeah, right. And I know Bad was one of my first CDs, and I still have that to this day, that same original copy. And I still
Bad
have that
came out
copy
in
of Big Shiny
'87.
Tunes too. Oh, 87, shit. So yeah, okay. What? I thought Thriller was 87. So Thriller was 85. Okay, my bad. Um, anyway, or 83. Shit, I'm losing it.
It's
Yeah,
all
because
right.
Off the Wall 79. Off the Wall 79, Thriller's 80. 3 maybe. Anyways,
It's alright, man. It's
with age, I've lost the data bank of the year shit came out. I used to know all that stuff like the back of my hand,
but basically,
yeah.
you're in
Anyways,
the early
I was
90s.
like 3. Yeah, I was like 3 years
Discovering all of this great shit on a bunch of VHSs, which is cool because CDs and stuff exist at that point. But like,
yeah,
you were able to just like, you're like a really young kid doing some VHS dubbing.
yeah. I was dubbing I since I can remember. Aside from my first memory in life, like whatever other early memories I have, like I can like at that time I was definitely like, yeah, I was playing with the VHS player and shit.
No, that's pretty fucking fantastic. Honestly,
Yeah.
cause like it's such a, cause that shows like your engineering skills and shit already popping off at like such a really young age, which means you probably dubbing is dubbing, however you do it. I mean, maybe there's different end results, but at a literal level, you're still in the mind frame of doing it. And yes, it gets more complicated. But like at 3, that's fucking next level. Like, like if you really think about that practically, it's kind of an impressive feat.
Well, give or take, man, 3 or 4. You know what I mean? Like I can't pinpoint the reference of the year exactly, but it was like it's like my early the earliest memories I have. Like I was dubbing tapes and shit back then. Like
So that's pretty cool though to think of music as a visual experience off the jump though too, right? Because it's not just gonna be like sound; it's gonna have the music video attached to it.